Chapter 4. Fear, the thinker's fuel. Fear is the thinker's oxygen. It's what keeps the mind running nonstop. It's what turns simple decisions into battles. It's what convinces you to stay where it's safe, even when safe is slowly suffocating your purpose. Fear makes you overthink what God already handled. The thinker doesn't move because they're scared of getting it wrong. The knower moves because they trust God to guide them even if they stumble. One of the biggest lies fear tells is this: you're not ready yet. But here's the truth. Most of the blessings, opportunities, breakthroughs, and assignments God sends will never arrive when you feel ready. They come when you're faithful, not comfortable. Fear always shows up when you're close to something meant for you. Fear says, what if you fail? God says, fear thou not, for I am with thee. Isaiah 41:10. Fear says, that dream is too big. God says, with God, all things are possible. Matthew 19:26. Fear says, what will people think? God says, if God be for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:31. Fear is loud, faith is quiet. And that's why many people mistake fear for wisdom, because fear shouts, but faith whispers. The thinker listens to the loud voice. The knower listens to the right one. Here's something real that most people won't tell you. Fear isn't always a demon or an attack. Sometimes fear is simply the mind trying to protect you from anything unfamiliar. Your mind's job is survival. Your spirit's job is destiny. Those two will clash every time God calls you higher. That's why success scares people. That's why healing scares people. That's why walking by faith scares people. Because everything God calls you to requires leaving something behind. An old mindset, an old habit, an old environment, or an old version of you. The thinker holds on. The knower lets go. Fear is the thinker imagining every negative outcome. Faith is the knower trusting God with every outcome. Think about how many times fear talked you out of something God was actually trying to bless you with. Opportunities you didn't take, tough conversations you avoided, talents you hid, ideas you buried, moves you delayed, prayers you were too discouraged to pray, dreams you told yourself were not realistic. Fear can't stop what God has planned, but it can stop you from stepping into it. The truth is uncomfortable. Most people are not held back by demons, haters, or lack of support. They're held back by fear of failing or fear of succeeding. Failure feels scary. Success feels even scarier. Failure means you tried and it didn't work. Success means God elevates you, and now you actually have to walk in the identity He gave you. But both success and failure are in God's hands, not yours. Your job is obedience. His job is outcome. Once that hits your spirit, fear loses its grip. Because when you realize you're not in control of the results, only the obedience, fear becomes powerless. The thinker is controlled by fear. The knower is guided by God. Fear says, stay where it's familiar. Faith says, follow me. And every time you choose faith over fear, you weaken the thinker and strengthen the knower inside you. Chapter 5. Faith, the knower's foundation. If fear is the thinker's fuel, faith is the knower's foundation. Nothing solid can be built without it. Not purpose, not confidence, not success, not peace, not a relationship with God, not a relationship with yourself. Faith is what turns a regular person into a knower. Someone who doesn't need all the answers because they trust the one who has them. Faith is quiet strength. Faith is spiritual intelligence. Faith is courage that doesn't come from you, but flows through you. Scripture says, For we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. Sight is for the thinker. Faith is for the knower. The thinker stares at the situation. The knower listens for God's direction. The thinker asks, does it make sense? The knower asks, is this God? The thinker waits until everything lines up. The knower moves because God spoke, even if nothing lines up yet. Here's the truth. Faith has never been about seeing. It's always been about trusting. Trusting God when the path isn't clear. Trusting God when your emotion doesn't agree. Trusting God when your plans fall apart. Trusting God when people doubt you. Trusting God when your mind is running wild. Trusting God when you feel unqualified. Trusting God when you feel alone. Trusting God when you feel led to do something that scares you. Faith doesn't require confidence in yourself. It requires confidence in God. The reason many people stay thinkers is because they keep trying to build their life on understanding instead of trust. But scripture says, lean not unto thine own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. Why? Because your understanding is limited. Your perspective is small. Your emotions shift. Your knowledge is incomplete. Your experience distorts things. But God sees the whole picture. He sees the enemies you don't know about, the blessings you can't imagine yet, the moves that haven't unfolded, the people He's preparing you to meet, the opportunities being arranged behind the scenes. When you walk by faith, you're walking with someone who already walked the path before you. That's why true faith makes you steady, unshakable, calm in storms, bold in assignments, certain even when uncertain. The knower doesn't need perfect conditions, just a clear instruction. Because the knower understands. You don't need to know how, you just need to know God. And when God puts something in your spirit, He's not asking you to figure it out. He's asking you to follow His lead. Listen, faith doesn't mean you feel fearless. It means you choose obedience even while feeling fear. Faith isn't the absence of emotion. Faith is the presence of direction. That's why every major move in your life will require faith, not comfort. God will call you to places you've never been, conversations you've never had, levels you've never operated on, rooms you feel unqualified for, people who stretch you, opportunities that feel bigger than your current self. And the thinker will panic, but the knower will say, if God brought me here, He'll get me through. Faith is the difference. Faith is what separates the version of you that overthinks from the version of you that overcomes. Because the moment you stop leaning on your mind and start leaning on God, that's when you finally become the knower He designed you to be. Chapter 6. The Power of Stillness. The thinker is always moving, in the head, always analyzing, always planning, always worried, always asking questions, always spinning. But the knower is still. Stillness is where clarity lives. Stillness is where God speaks. Stillness is where spirit catches up to your mind. Most people think action alone produces results. That's the thinker lie. Action without stillness is wasted energy. It's noise disguised as productivity. Scripture says, be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Notice it doesn't say be busy. It doesn't say keep planning. It says be still. Stillness is a spiritual practice. It's not laziness. It's not inactivity. It's listening. It's receiving. It's allowing God to guide your next steps instead of letting the mind guess. Here's the thing. The thinker fears stillness because when the word is quiet, you can hear the truth about yourself. You can hear the truth about God. You can hear the truth about the path ahead. And that scares the thinker. But the knower embraces stillness because stillness is power. In stillness, you hear God's whisper. You discern the lies from the truth. You see the patterns your mind was too noisy to notice. You feel the courage to move. You recognize your own strength. You understand the timing of God's plan. The difference between overthinking and knowing is a often amount of stillness. It's that pause where you stop debating every possibility and start listening for the one who already knows. Practical ways to enter stillness. 1. Daily walk, quiet time. Even 10 minutes of uninterrupted reflection can reset your spirit. 2. Breathing with purpose. Slow, deep breaths while focusing on God's presence. 3. Scripture meditation. Choose a verse, repeat it. Let it settle in your spirit. 4. Prayer of surrender. Speak to God, but more importantly, listen. 5. Journaling. Write what you feel, then ask God what He wants you to see. I like to call this your daily rhythm, a repeated, intentional practice that keeps your spirit aligned and your mind from running wild. The knower doesn't move into major decisions without this rhythm. The thinker moves constantly, thinking it will solve the chaos, but the chaos only grows. Stillness is like a spiritual reset button. It's where God refreshes your mind and confirms your steps. It's where faith meets action. It's where the knower separates from the thinker. If you want to strengthen your faith walk, if you want to stop being scared of success or failure, if you want to unlock your potential, you must learn the power of stillness. Because movement without stillness is just motion. Movement with stillness is purpose.